For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
But on a lighter side,
we need people in America. So some of you there out there, you know, have one little child, you tell your husband and tell your wife, man, I mean, you're not reading there tonight, there, it'll make something happen. People gonna say, well, I'm just scared there tonight, boy.
but on a lighter side,
we need people in America. So some of you there out there, you know, have one little child, you tell your husband and tell your wife, man, I mean, you're not reading there tonight, there, it'll make something happen. People gonna say, well, I'm just scared there tonight, boy.
but on a lighter side.
How was your Thursday evening, considering the inclemency of the weather, all that rain, all that thunder that you experienced? Was the case of so many tours? Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of NewsSpin right here on Power 97.9 FM. We are also on YouTube and the NewsSpin Facebook page. My name is Timothy Poleon. We'll be together until 2 o'clock this afternoon. We can start the broadcast on a light moment. Why? Because we were spared the true impact and fury of Tropical Storm Brett. Of course, I'm sure when we ended our broadcast yesterday, many of you were fretting. I was very much concerned because I could tell you, if it's one thing that I have tremendous respect for, weather systems, hurricanes, storms, flooding, because we have gone through tremendous experience over the last few years in St. Lucia. Last November, and also considering the Christmas Eve trough of 2013, it did damage amounting to approximately United States $99 million. And ever since, and even the passage of Thomas and Lenny, and ever since, I'm sure that many of you, from the time you receive word via the Met Office and NEMO and NEMAC that St. Lucia is under the threat of some kind of storm, I'm sure you would be fretting. You would be so concerned because you do not want it to be personally impacted, and likewise, you do not want the country to be impacted. No water, no potable water, no electricity, you can't use your phone, you can't communicate with your friends via WhatsApp and Facebook, you can't watch television. It is as if you're back to the Stone Age. And obviously that is inconvenience you to a large degree. And we are just so thankful. I don't know about you, but I'm speaking for you. We are so thankful that we were spared. Remember from 10 o'clock last evening, howling of the wind and the rain and the thunder, lightning to a certain extent. And I thought, yes, the prediction of the Met officials certainly will come to pass. And we will certainly be experiencing a lot of damage, whether it's infrastructural damage, damage to homes, and I also fear that people would lose their lives. So very, very, very thankful that we have been spared, but it's only day number 23 as far as the Atlantic hurricane season is concerned. We are still into the hurricane season and will be going up until November the 30th. And many of you right now, I imagine that you would be making your own assessment around your homes and your communities. Ensure that you do so in a very safe manner. But that is the reality that we are going through right now with all the talk of climate change. By the way, the all clear has been given by the Prime Minister, and we'll be hearing from the St. Lucian leader in just a moment. But first, the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, they have been urged to reimagine to help small island states deal with the effects of climate change. And so says the number one prime minister in the world. Yes, the number one prime minister in the world, Mia Mottley, attending a conference in Paris focusing on financing climate change. Let us hear from the number one prime minister in the world, Mia Mottley.
And that transformation is required because while the world knew since the 1890s that we were facing the warming of the climate, we chose not to heed the advice of scientists. And that transformation is required because while the world knew since the 1890s that we were facing the warming of the climate, we chose not to heed the advice of scientists.
Prime Minister Mia Mottley speaking in Paris this week. Also coming up on our program, we have some police vibes. Yes, a former police commissioner and also the president of the Police Welfare Association. You'll be hearing from them. Also, what we have in store for you, a whole lot more. You'll be hearing from the head of the National Emergency Management Organization when she urges the St. Lucian public to stock up on essentials such as having medication to last 30 days. The big question is, where is the money coming from? For many of you who can ill afford to purchase medication to last 3 days. But first, let us hear from the Prime Minister of St. Lucian, the head of NEMAC, speaking with Jolita Peter moments ago of the NTN and giving the all clear as far as businesses and various operations to recommence from where they left off yesterday after the closure of those entities as of 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon.
I'm pleased to announce that after discussions with NEMO and all parties, the all clear has been given for the resumption of normal activity.
Anything, Trinity, that you would want to report, perhaps from your constituency and generally what has been going on around the island from the reports reaching you?
Well, I'm leaving home in a while, to see what happens, because as you know, I have to listen to the instructions on the all clear. But as far as I know, because of course my constituency isn't too bad, there's a major electricity fault in that tree fell on a pole, and the electricity has been interrupted. The service has been interrupted. Apart from that, as far as I know, but again, it's very, very, very preliminary because I haven't been out. But the calls I've been getting, it seems that things are okay. But again, very preliminary because I have not been out.
Well, thank you, Prime Minister. And I guess sometime later in the day or over the weekend, we'll be getting a full assessment of some of the damages, and we await that report.
Sure, we will. And thank you very much for the work that you guys did. And I want to tell the people of St. Lucia, be calm and just follow the instructions. Only listen to the news and the weather that comes from NEMO. And please do not litter the waterways. Do not throw garbage into the waterways. This is a major issue. It may sound minor, but major in the greater scheme of things. Please do not litter the waterways. Please, please.
Prime Minister of St. Lucia speaking with NTN's Julita Peter just before noon today, and again giving the all clear. You are watching NewsSpin on YouTube, also on the NewsSpin Facebook page. We are also on Power 97.9 FM. Let's open the lines to hear from you right now, wherever you're listening to the broadcast. 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026, 716-2026. And I'll be going through some of your comments in the chat room as well. So if you're from NEMO, if you're from any of the disaster preparedness committees, if you're from the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, and you're in a position to share some critical information with the audience, the NewsSpin family, and people who are watching and listening around the world, you can do so right now. If you want to make some observations, 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026, 716-2026. Now, we continue to hear from the authorities, particularly the Prime Minister, as you just heard, and various MPs, focusing on the indiscriminate disposal of certain items in the drains, etc. So old refrigerators, furniture, television sets, and things of that nature. There's no denying that this contributes to flooding in various parts of the island. But the authorities must also admit, and that would include primarily the Ministry of Infrastructure, that they have fallen short over the last few months as far as clearing those drains ahead of the hurricane season. And this is not coming from me today, but this is a concern that has been echoed prior to the commencement of the hurricane season by many of you who have called in to the program. Because somehow, people who are deemed to be ordinary folks, ordinary citizens, are never respected. Very often, those people are seen as troublemakers and people who are bent on overreacting and have a propensity to always be critical, or propensity to be critical of the authorities. But we must listen to the ordinary folks. They are not stupid. They might not speak in a sophisticated manner. They might not speak in a manner that you deem to be authoritative. But if you read between the lines, those people have the empirical evidence. They live it every day. And if they're saying there are certain drains that should be cleared, rivers should be cleared, don't ignore it. You might as well take to the airwaves and say, we are going through some financial problems at this time, and we are unable to come up with the requisite resources to deal with that. But this has been the norm over several decades. The period of John Compton being Prime Minister and all other leaders, where drains are cleared in the run-up to the hurricane season. When was the last time was the Castries River cleared of silt and many other areas? Those of you who watched the broadcast yesterday, you would recall that photographs were sent to me, and I shared it with you on the program, where certain rivers, I think in Corinth, were being cleared. Certain areas in Bexon were being cleared. So let us use the words of the Prime Minister and say to the authorities, please, 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 do what is required of you. You have failed the people when it comes to rehabilitating our roads, fixing our roads. You have claimed that it's because of rain that you're not able to do it. We had brilliant sunshine over several months. You are still unable to do it. But in the case of our rivers, in the case of our drains, it is your responsibility to clear those. We're not talking about drains that belong to private citizens. That is their responsibility. But we're talking about the Castries River, other drains and rivers in the Corinth area and other locations. Please do what is required of you. As we've been saying ever so often, the reason why we have governments is to attend to problems of that nature. There's a role for you to play. Likewise, there's a responsibility for us citizens. And there are things that ordinary citizens, because of their own limitations, financial and otherwise, don't have the technical expertise. That's why you have a ministry of infrastructure with all the technocrats, with a chief engineer and a whole set of technical people to carry out the various functions that would redound to the benefit of the wider St. Lucian public. And so in the absence of any study, it is easy for a prime minister or for the authorities to say, boy, we have all those floods. It's primarily because people are dumping refrigerators, furniture, etc. in our rivers, in our drains. That's why. But equally, there is a responsibility for the state, and I don't think we need to carry out any study for us to conclude that the government needs to do more as far as clearing those drains and rivers. Let us hear from the Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Department of Infrastructure, Lenita Joseph, issued a statement which I came across earlier today.
The Department of Infrastructure, Ports and Transport has deployed its teams to undertake initial damage assessments to facilitate reports to NEMO. However, our efforts are being hindered by the number of vehicles on the road, some of which are still in unsafe condition for travel. Persons are encouraged to call our command centers in the north and south to provide details of damage, which will expedite the conduct of the assessments. We are therefore urging the public to await the all clear before venturing out. Thank you.
And that statement was issued just before the all clear was given by the Prime Minister. You just heard there from Lenita Joseph, Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Department of Infrastructure. So we all need to play our part. When you're told to stay off the roads as pedestrians and also people who are driving, motorists, we need to adhere to those regulations because it's for a particular reason. If you're out there sightseeing, you certainly would be serving as an impediment to police officers and emergency personnel who have to use the roads. And very often they would be using the roads being mindful of the request that was made by the authorities for people not to be going on a sightseeing tour or also using their vehicles to traverse various parts of the island. But the all clear has been given, and imagine that people out there either driving, going to work, businesses have reopened. And despite we have been spared, let us use that opportunity to engage in some exercise that would involve a serious post-mortem. For example, our shelters, whether they are in proper condition to house people in the event the homes have been damaged or destroyed by a storm, who will be coordinating the transfer of such individuals to the various shelters around the island, and ensuring that those shelters are manned by the correct personnel, and also persons who are volunteering or volunteers. Those are issues that we certainly need to attend to. And the homeless, we do have homeless people. I'm sure that if you were driving along Jeremy Street, you'd have seen some of the individuals there, those of an unsound mind, yes, but a couple of people who are homeless. We tend to forget those individuals. The Feed the Poor ministry, we have to definitely applaud them, because I saw some video of Gaspar Henry feeding some people in the CDC area and also at the VG complex. So there's a responsibility and a role for all of us. But again, as I often say, it's all about leadership. 452-2979, 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026, 716-2026. And let me see if I have any of your messages. Somebody says that, Tim, again, our shelters safe. Are they equipped with first aid kits, bed sheets, water, or a power generator and beds? Tim, I don't think so. Certainly it's not a time for us to be complacent. And we know that as St. Lucians, if there isn't a storm, we expected a storm to affect the island. It does not happen. Some of us complain, and in other instances, we do not take time to carry out the necessary assessments and to determine where we might have fallen short. Next time around, for us to do what is required, and if we are challenged, that we can meet that challenge head on. Because as I said earlier on, we are very much into the hurricane season, and that goes on officially until the end of November. Let me see what's happening in the chat room. Some people are just saying Blessed Friday Spinners. Also, we have another comment there. Somebody says in the chat room, luckily you all have electricity. Another comment in the chat room. Tim, I have no interest for the lighter side from government employees. We have enough comedians like Cokes for that. We need seriousness. So it's all seriousness for that particular individual. Another person says, she is the best prime minister in the world. I'm sure that Bermuda, Mr. Bermuda, if he's listening or watching the broadcast right now, will take offense. But you need not carry out a poll. Whether you are in the United States, South Africa, in Europe, in the Caribbean, you would be asked the question, who is the world's best prime minister? And I would wager a bet, in unison, the majority of the 8 billion inhabitants, those who can discern, those who can speak, those who are intelligent enough, etc., they will tell you, hands down, Mia Mortley is the best prime minister in the world. Continuing with your comments in the chat room. Let's see there. Okay, some of the comments coming in. The Tim, is St. Lucian Barbados having talks with the World Health Organization about manufacturing vaccines? Don't have that information. Another person says we still have strong wind gusts in the south and raining. So you be careful in the southern part of the island. And another person says, Mia Motley is the best prime minister in the Caribbean. Well, I'll tell you, in the world. Another comment, Tim, the VA4 Primary School, the Philip Marsley Grounds, and the old Bossejo building all lost their roofs in VA4 South. Okay, the free zone fence is also down. All right, sorry to hear that about the destruction to the VA4 Primary School, the Philip Marsley Grounds, and the old Bossejo building. Okay, so we sympathize with the folks who are affected by this. Another comment, especially the north of the island, the same day the rep trying to run here and there. Too late. Shame on them. And those are the same individuals who are very much aware of what is happening, because if you are in government, if you're in cabinet, I imagine that those are the issues that you would be discussing, because you clearly cannot avoid it. You would be hearing people complaining and expressing concern about the fact that certain things are not being carried out by the government, and in particular, the Ministry of Infrastructure. And I don't know, maybe you have to ask certain questions of the Ministry of Infrastructure. Why we have a Ministry of Infrastructure when people continue to complain about bad roads, the poor execution of certain projects. Millennium Highway is one case in point, and also the clearing of rivers and drains. That is the ministry that is responsible for undertaking that task. Maybe we need a job description for our government ministers. Remember, that was something we discussed, I think it was earlier this week. I played a clip of the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Mr. Andrew Holness, and he tabled in Parliament a piece of legislation pertaining to the setting up of a job description for MPs, members of Parliament, and one for cabinet ministers. And we have just located that clip. In case you missed it, let us hear from the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness.
Tabling today job descriptions for members of Parliament, and this is being tabled as a green paper. And for ministers, we are tabling their job descriptions, and this is being tabled as a white paper. So the white paper, Madam Speaker, is already determined. It is now government policy. The green paper, the committee to be established will have the opportunity to review, make amendments, and to finalize. These will set out strategic objectives of the post, its purpose, reporting and accountability, the key deliverables and responsibility areas, performance standards, competencies, contacts, and the working conditions. In proposing a job description, we are not suggesting anything new or outside our laws and constitution. However, few people have a full appreciation of what the appointment requires or the election to be a member of Parliament requires. It is hoped that this job description will help members of the public better appreciate and understand the roles and responsibilities of ministers and members of Parliament. Madam Speaker, good governance also means holding our parliamentarians and ministers to the highest standard of conduct. We will prepare, discuss, agree, and implement codes of conduct for parliamentarians and for ministers. It has been more than 20 years since the country turned its attention to a formal declaration of the conduct of ministers in Ministry Paper number 19, 2002. In that paper, the country was invited to accept the UK Nolan Committee's report or proposal of the 7 principles of public life, including selflessness, integrity, objectivity, accountability, openness, honesty, and leadership. Those 7 principles are as enduring now as when they were first presented. However, we contemplate that we need to develop further guidance to implement those principles in a much better way. Every minister in the cabinet is bounded by the Code of Conduct in Ministry Paper 19, 2002. So I want that point, Madam Speaker, to be cemented. The cabinet is not without a code of conduct. There is a code of conduct that has existed for 20 years, which members on that side, when they were in the cabinet, were also bounded by.
Prime Minister of Jamaica, Mr. Andrew Holness, speaking about a code of conduct for cabinet ministers and also a job description for cabinet ministers as well. 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. In the chat room, somebody's asking the question, who is the worst prime minister in the Caribbean? I don't have the answer to that question. I can only tell you from my vantage point, the best prime minister in the world is Mia Mortley. Let's go again. In terms of your comments in the chat room, it is too expensive to open shelters in advance of the hurricane, but how much did they spend on jazz? And some more of your comments. Somebody says they're happy to get my power back. And I think that person lives in the Latok area, Latok Road, Castries. And let me see, I have a WhatsApp message. Let me see if I could go through it. Somebody says, Tim, please play the clip of NEMO lady, Miss Maida, saying that she's not going to open the shelter early because it's too much money for government. I think we'll try to get that clip of the director of NEMO. I think we had that clip yesterday, so we'll try to access it right now and play it. In a way, I understand what she's saying, but I think is the manner in which she conveyed that message. It almost came across as if, she was being insensitive. But you cannot open a shelter after the all clear has been given. You have to open the shelter. I think as was done, in Barbados. What should be done is that people who are vulnerable should be able to access a center in St. Lucia, in any part of St. Lucia, whilst we are preparing for a storm, a hurricane, what have you. It is not after. By then, that person would have been severely impacted, would have lost their lives, worst case scenario. So let us hear from the director of NEMO, Maria Maida.
Our shelters are open mainly after post-disaster. Because one of the reasons is that when we open before, it means that it's a cost to the state. We open before and sometimes you don't get anybody coming to the shelters. We have almost 260 shelters. You cannot open all of them. So they are open as needed post the disaster. If you have looked at your risk and you have recognized that your home is prone to disasters, whether it be a landslide or flooding, and you have no family and friends that you can go to, then you contact your local district disaster committee, and they, along with the shelter managers for whichever shelter to be open, will make the arrangements to shelter persons.
So you get a sense that there's a lot of red tape as to when to open the shelter, maybe after a storm has passed and hit the country and people have been impacted, but not before. And where the apparent insensitivity comes in is the talk of it costs money to open a shelter. Do you save a life? Do you look to save people's lives? Or is it a case of looking at the financial constraints? Because a lot of people tell you that governments have a tendency to freely splurge on certain things that are not important. But when it comes to doing things that would improve the lives of people, impact them in a positive way, then the government tends to want to be fiscally prudent when that is not what is required at that time. Still to come, police vibes. First we heard from Severmore Sherry, former police commissioner of St. Lucia, back-to-back calls, and then the president of the Police Welfare Association called, Mr. Cameron Law. Those calls were made yesterday to our NewsSpin program. As there are calls, yes, this is the word again, calls being made for allegations of sexual harassment within the Royal St. Lucia Police Force to be investigated. You are watching NewsSpin on our NewsSpin Facebook page, as well as on YouTube, and listening to the broadcast on Power 97.9 FM.
One of the biggest events for St. Lucia's Carnival has returned. Rum Bucket Waterland. More water, more paint, more foam. Sunday, 16th July at Gaiety Grounds from 11 p.m. Small coolers will be allowed, but no ice, no chaser. Must be 18 and older to enter. ID will be checked. Your ticket outlets are Steve's Barbershop and all the sell outlets. Rum Bucket Waterland. That's when we reach the waterfront. We doing whatever the hell we want. Get ready for more water, more paint, and more foam. Sponsored by KFC, Digicel, and White Oak.
On July 8th, 2023, we're turning the Beauséjour Promenade into a one-stop shop for your new car. Car dealers, insurance experts, even mechanics, all under one roof, all ready to help you find your perfect ride. And only at First National Bank can you get vehicle loans as low as 4.75%. In honor of our 85th anniversary, the first 85 customers won't have to pay until August 2023. Join us at the Beauséjour Promenade on July 8th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and make it a hangout spot with music and eats and drinks on sale. Start your journey with First National Bank. First National Bank, here for you.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbouté at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Tired of searching all over and still can't find the auto parts you need? At Fede Auto Parts, we make it easy for you and save you the frustration and running around. From Toyota to Chevy to Daihatsu, to those rare truck parts, we've got you covered. And we're quick with special orders with frequent flights from Japan, the US, and the UK. Visit our store or give us a call at 450-7500 or 484-8141. Save time and avoid the line. Fede Auto Parts, Wadawaj. Why stop anywhere else?
In the event of a thunderstorm, unplug all electrical appliances and equipment. Lightning can produce high voltages on electrical networks, which can damage equipment. Have flashlights, battery-powered radios, and extra fresh batteries available in the event of power outages.
This message is brought to you by Lucelec, the power of caring.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay. Flow is keeping you connected.
Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Sadu's gas station on the Miku Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
Glass Supermarket continues to be your family-oriented local supermarket which spares no effort to affordably bring you the world.
Trust Glass.
For quality and friendly service.
Trust Glass.
For daily excellent specials and fantastic prices.
Trust Glass.
For the best quality bread. Check out Glass for your delicious French pastries and meals.
Also, you must know that Glass caters for your special occasion with these quality French pastries and cakes.
Be sure to earn points on your Glass card as we say thank you for your support, St. Lucia. Glass Supermarket, contact number 452-8814.
Automotive art is a place to start. Automotive art is a place to start.
Yeah, look, check. We got a wide range of products that are automotive and do-it-yourself supplies if you got a moment. Smart staff that'll always know it. Got rims and tires from trucks to high performance to off-roading. Start here, tools, batteries, oil, and car care.
Automotive art is a place to start.
You must survive the hurricane first before you can enter shelter. This is not shelter. This is a rescue mission. And extracted this from the chat room. And we have a WhatsApp message. Remember, 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026, 716-2026. WhatsApp message. Tim, our number one problem on the island is reactivity. We have always taken a reactive approach to everything: crime, fraud, accidents, pandemics, economic activities, etc. So it is not all surprising that this lady's announcements are based on after the fact. After all, preparedness has the prefix pre, which means before. Shouldn't the shelters be prepared and opened before the storm? And what is the state responsibility for? Shaking my head. It will cost the state. It must cost the state because the state is responsible for its citizenry. Let me see if I have another one. When it comes to, Tim, you're so right, when it comes to improving the people's lives in terms of putting the welfare of the citizens first. There are numerous facilities needed and improvement in so many areas, but government just like to see its population beg for basic needs and services because it becomes pertinent when elections come around. They somehow magically find the money. But this time or era, younger voters will not be fooled, and ultimately parliamentarians will pay the price. You really think so? Politicians have a way of hoodwinking the people, bamboozling them, tricking them into making the wrong decisions, saying what they want the voters to hear, saying that we'll legalize this and we'll legalize that, saying that we'll provide you with greater opportunity employment opportunities through this program and that program. It is something that plays. They do things that would play on the mind of the people or certain individuals. And more than that, a lot of voters have the chicken and rum mentality. All you have to do is to corral some entertainers, put them on a stage, let them perform the right kind of music, and then a politician comes in, pretends he can dance and he can whine, he can move his waist, etc. And that's entertainment. And people buy into that, and they have not even opened the manifesto of any of their political parties. They have not paid attention to what was said on the platform. They can't repeat to you one policy that would have been offered by either the government of the day or the opposition, which prompted them to vote for a particular political party or a candidate. It has everything to do on emotions, everything to do with the heart, and nothing to do with the brain. There isn't any deep analysis on most occasions that goes into somebody making a decision to vote a government into office or vote a government out of office. It is basically on what is appealing to you emotionally. So I'm not holding my breath on this. And also, we make decisions, voters make decisions, a lot of hearsay. You know, I hear that man is corrupt. I hear that man doing a lot of bobble in his ministry. I hear that man is a liar. And they cannot prove any of the allegations that have been made. And we've been hearing this for so long now. My God, if a guy is corrupt, no pun intended, if a particular individual is deemed to be corrupt, why is that individual, after all kind of allegations have been leveled at him, why is he still out? And sometimes 3, 4, 5 years, he's out, he's roaming the streets, traveling, walking throughout the length and breadth of St. Lucia. And the government the government that's in office that made all the allegations while in opposition does nothing about that individual. So how do you cause such individuals to account for their misdeeds? So it's just a lot of hot talk, a lot of allegation, a lot of innuendo. It is not all about the evidence. So, unfortunately, many voters, they do not take into consideration the facts surrounding certain issues, and they do not pay attention to policies. Let me see if I have another WhatsApp message. Somebody simply says, happy, we safe, well done, great job. Let's see if we have another message. Do they have Groseley Friday night? The producer is from Groseley. I don't know if he can tell me whether there's Groseley Friday night on this evening, but if the all clear has been given, I could only imagine that the Groseley Friday night street party is on. If any of the organizers, they are watching or listening to this broadcast, they can always call to clear the air. Or if the MP for the area, Kenson Casimir, is listening or watching and is not too busy, he can always call to address that particular issue. Whether the Groseley Friday night street party is on. I think somebody wants to find out because they want to head on to the north of the island to have a good time. And nothing wrong in that, because what we thought we'd be experiencing last night into this morning, the fact that we have been spared, this is cause for celebration. I agree. This is cause for celebration. But we must not lose sight of the bigger picture, which is we are still in the hurricane season, and we have to do everything that is possible to ensure that we are safe. We have to secure our homes. We have to cut overhanging branches, clear our drains, and this goes for the Ministry of Infrastructure as well. Those who can afford it, let us insure our homes against such perils. All right, let me see if I have some more of your WhatsApp messages. Somebody says there, good afternoon. You are one of the only presenters live on air right now. Why haven't any of the ministers called your program to provide the public with some information? They cannot put their pride aside and call NewsSpin, not even during a disaster. What a shame. Great job to you and the NewsSpin team for being on the air. Thank you so much. We have a WhatsApp call, and it's coming from Bermuda. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
3-time journalist of the year. Tim.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon to you, sir.
You got to stop giving me a 649, you know.
What do you mean by that?
I hear you say yes now.
Mm-hmm.
That you know who's the greatest prime minister in the world.
Right now, the greatest prime minister, Mia Motley.
I heard you say. I heard you say it.
Yeah, and I'm repeating it.
So you are repeat it.
Mia Motley is currently the best prime minister in the world.
Okay.
What is due to somebody? I have to give it to them.
Okay. I am fighting with you. How come you know who's the best and you don't know who's the worst?
That's a good one because I have not given that much thought. I am
Tim,
not.
come on,
No.
man.
Hold on. I'm also not into last place. Who comes last? I'm always focused on who comes first. For me,
Tim.
it's unimportant. It's irrelevant. Who comes last? I'm always interested in who comes first, not even second or third.
I am saying to you, sir, if you know who's the best, you know who's the worst.
No, I'm not interested. I watched the race and I saw who came first. Never focus. And let's be real. Let's be real. You have a contest. You have a race. 100 meters. You focus on who came last. That doesn't register with you at all, you know. It does not register at all. Who comes first?
Tim.
Yes, sir.
There was a horse in Japan. It came last in every race. And it was the most popular horse in Japan. Every race it ran, it came last. Okay?
Just remember that.
Let me say this to you.
Hold on. Just remember there's this December 13th cycling race around the city circuit. I don't know if you were in St. Lucia during that period. And I remember my mom would send me to watch the race by the market. And there's one guy, so there's a merit in what you say, one guy who always came last. And he was a bit of I'll tell you what, a personality. Okay? And I think they nicknamed him Never Win. The word I was looking for was celebrity. He was a celebrity, and people called him Never Win. Yeah, go ahead.
Tim, I heard that on the CBS News a few years ago. This horse comes last in every race it ran. The most popular horse in Japan. On the CBS News. Can't remember the name of the horse. But let me say this to you. I repeat again, if you know who's the best, you know who's the worst. I know who's the best cricket team in the world. I know who's the worst. I know who's the best footballer, the best football team in the world. I know who's the worst. If you know who's the best, 9 out of 10 times you know who's the worst. Okay? Let me continue. You got a Mongoose gang. Those guys are real Mongoose gang for true, you know, man. How you condemn those guys? Those guys are suit no other name but Mongoose gang, not SFP government. From big government. They got shelters and they only open them when people call. Tim, you the hurricane, you got time to make a phone call? How many people got time to make a phone call when disaster strikes? Huh? How many people, Tim?
Sometimes the phone lines are not working, eh? The phone lines are down. Very often the phone lines are down. Yeah.
Phone lines are down. To the guy down, like everything is down, and they tell that people will call. That SFP Mongoose gang takes solutions for. They use a stupidity on solutions every day. You ever such? You ever read such? Call when you need rescue. As a guy to say in your chat room. These guys don't have something else. How could solutions go in the line and vote for these people, man? How can you get in the line and vote for that Mongoose gang? My God! Let me tell you, you don't know who's the worst Prime Minister in the world, the worst government? The Mongoose gang is the worst in the world, Tim, then, if you want to know. That alone will tell you they're the worst. That alone will tell you that. You telling a man, rescue, thunders, trees falling down, coconuts, houses falling, tell a man call you, falls falling, wires, everything cut off. You tell a man call you when you want rescue? Huh? That's what solutions, that's what our SFP Mongoose gang think of solutions. They don't think a job of nothing. That's what they tell you all that St. Jude is a box. St. Jude is a box. The most classiest building in the Caribbean. They tell us a box, and y'all go along with that talk. Oh, St. Jude's a box. St. Jude's a box. St. Jude's a box. We don't learn sense. Common sense. Common sense, that's what it is. That's about common sense. But SFP got to go by. How can a man vote for the SFP Mongoose gang government? Some you have no damn shame. You only got the shame. Come have a nice day.
You too, sir. In the chat room, someone says, what a cop-out, Tim. Pip has to be well in front as the worst. Let's see if we have some more of your comments. You are so right, Mr. Bermuda. And let's see, some more of your reaction in the chat room that I can share with the wider audience. Please bear with me while I go through some of those comments. Okay. All right, some of those comments should remain in the chat room. Let us hear now from former Police Commissioner Severin Moncheri, followed by Cameron Law, President of the Police Welfare Association, because we've been seeing in the media missive after missive appearing and people commenting amid allegations are being made that certain individuals are being sexually harassed in the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, and there's been calls for some kind of investigation. But let's take a call before that. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Tim.
Hi, good afternoon to you, Rick.
Since I'm not a cricket aficionado, was that a googly that Mr. Bermuda tossed you there?
A googly, and I chipped down the wicket, and I smothered it. I smothered the spin.
All right, so that was a googly.
Yeah, and I played it well. I played it.
Well, that's for the reference.
I'm very good at playing googlies, you know. I don't know if because of my stance. When I hold my bat in my stance, I play the googly very well.
Well, I think you're also good about being your own referee as well. Tim, you spoke earlier about this matter of the harassment, sexual harassment of police officers and so on. Did you, are you familiar with the Prime Minister's comment on that?
Yes, the Prime Minister said there will be no tolerance because I remember him saying.
No, I mean, regarding the letters.
I can remember him alluding to it. He would have spoken on several occasions on this issue. But I remember at one point. I remember at one point.
Yesterday.
I remember at one point him saying, "No one should be harassed. Imagine you have big people in a workplace. They have a right to determine whether they want to have sexual relations with someone or not."
All that's a few days ago.
Yeah,
but
more than that.
I'm told that yesterday, he, in response to a question from a reporter, he said he had received a letter full of allegations.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do with allegations, etc.? I don't know if the Prime Minister said that. In fact, I'm almost disinclined to believe he said that. But if he did say that, that is very depressing, Tim.
Yeah.
Because it would answer for all the allegations. Because every charge brought by the police, or every time somebody gets killed, and you hear reports, people call in or go to the police for what they think they saw. All of those are nothing but allegations.
But let's deal specifically with the rape. Anytime somebody accuses another person of rape, that's an allegation, and that's worthy of being investigated.
But the point I want to make is allegations remain allegations. No matter what, an allegation that Tim didn't come to work, no matter what, remains an allegation until it is proved by the proper authority.
Yes.
So, if the Prime Minister is saying, and I didn't hear it, I'm just wondering about it, that if the Prime Minister is saying that, it explains a whole lot of stuff. Because the matter of the one I'm always forgetting her name, Jimmy, you always have to remember.
Kimberly De Leon.
Yeah, the matter of Kimberly Leon's death is an allegation that she was shot.
Yeah.
And there's evidence around, and that evidence supposedly is being investigated. Forensics and everything, it continues. The boy was shot by the police, 17 years old, 4 years old. It's an allegation. Valinda Joseph was raped, allegedly, until a court determines it remains an allegation. So if in fact the Prime Minister has received a letter with such serious allegations about the most important protection force we have in the country, the police. If within the police you have women being sexually abused, harassed, or whatever, and that comes from the welfare, the police welfare, and the accent is on welfare, and bearing in mind what the Prime Minister has already expressed, an intolerance for any such behavior within the force. I mean, how is he going to determine there is that kind of stuff going on in the force, how long it has been going on, who is responsible, if he just says, I received a letter full of allegations, you want me to check every allegation? That's what I was told he said. I mean, that is frightening if the Prime Minister said that, don't you think?
Definitely. And I'd want to hear that clip to make my own assessment of the situation.
I was told he said that yesterday, and to a reporter in one of the ambush things. He said I was told he said that. So it is so important to me that even though I didn't hear it myself, I mean that posture is so important that I put it to you so that if anybody else heard it, or somebody in a position to dismiss it, that they would, because it's so important.
But also the Home Affairs Minister said a few months ago that these matters can only be decided or addressed by the court. But how does it get to the court in the first place?
My accent is on the dismissal of allegations regarding the police, especially it's the apparent dismissal of allegations from the police welfare relating to female police officers about whom the Prime Minister had spoken twice already, which indicates he knows something about it and it's going to be intolerable. But if he ignores the allegations, then he will be complicit in not investigating them. I mean, the allegations, including people making false allegations. We have laws for false allegations as well. You know, besides libel and so on, we slander. We also have laws relating to false allegations, people at work and so on and so on. So I cannot, and again I'm underscoring, if indeed the Prime Minister said that, this is a whole lot of trouble because it would indicate a mindset. So I hope somebody, you may want to do it, Tim, to find out if in fact the Prime Minister said that and if anybody has that on tape. Allegedly, it was said yesterday to reporters. I will try to locate that clip if it does exist, sir. And by the way, you left me hanging yesterday. Mr. Did what's his name? Law. What's his name?
Cameron Law.
Cameron.
Yeah.
Did Cameron you carried something by him? You will hear that clip in just a moment. Okay, but did he say in particular? Did he say he had written or contacted Moncherry? No, he didn't say so much, but I think whatever he said would have sparked more concerns and also more questions as well. But what I am concerned about is why Mr. Moncherry chose to call. Well, why he called is because I said that he was written to, he was informed of the... Well, you said that. Yes, I said that, of the allegations, but he said he was never written as police commissioner on that matter. But I will play the clip as soon as we take a commercial break. So you'll be hearing from both Mr. Moncherry and Mr. Law in just a bit. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Rick. You are watching NewsSpin on YouTube. We are also on the NewsSpin Facebook page and listening to the broadcast on Power 97.9 FM. Still to come, you'll be hearing from former Police Commissioner Severin Mosheri, followed by Cameron Law, President of the Police Welfare Association.
Exceeding your expectations is what we strive for at Lazarus Funeral Home. Losing a loved one isn't something you can foresee. Since the beginning, affordability has been one of our priorities. Every day we're proving that burials don't have to be expensive. If cost is a factor in your time of bereavement, call Lazarus Funeral Home. We have coffins starting at $800 plus taxes. Nothing can cause more disappointment than poor quality. Help us help you keep your last memory of your loved one sacred. Make it special. Make it Lazarus Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Located at Bibliotheque Castries at 452-7491 and New Dock Road V4 at 454-6555.
Lucilec kaveti ou pou point précaution diwan saison cyclone sa la. Mi an ti commission ki kaywen de ou protéger la vie ou ek propriétaire ou. Diwan mauvais temps, si la ni an chaise éclair ek loway, déplogue toute appliance et puis équipement qui a servi courant électrique. Zéclair ça haussé quantité courant à sous système courant Lucilec. Appliance et équipement qui en service est dommagé. Fait assis ou ni flashlight, radio qui a servi batterie et l'autre batterie qui fouet à sous réserve pour si en cas la peut panique courant. Ça c'était en commission Hod Lucilec.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Why pay full price for your mobile when you can pay half? Just bundle your home internet and mobile services with Flow and save 50% on your mobile bill. That's money in your pocket every month. Plus, now you get free YouTube and WhatsApp data. And you can share your plan with up to 3 other numbers. Upgrade now and get a free smartphone. Switch and keep your number. Learn more at discoverflow.co.
Tired of searching all over and still can't find the auto parts you need? At Fede Auto Parts, we make it easy for you and save you the frustration and running around. From Toyota to Chevy to Daihatsu to those rare truck parts, we've got you covered. And we're quick with special orders with frequent flights from Japan, the US, and the UK. Visit our store or give us a call at 450-7500 or 484-8141. Save time and avoid the line. Fede Auto Parts, Wadawaj. Why stop anywhere else?
One of the biggest events for St. Lucia's Carnival has returned. Rum Bucket Waterland. More water, more paint, more foam. Sunday, 16th July at Gaty Grounds from 11 p.m. Small coolers will be allowed, but no ice, no chaser. Must be 18 and older to enter. ID will be checked. Your ticket outlets are Steve's Barbershop and all the Cell outlets. Rum Bucket Waterland.
That's when we reach the waterfront. We doing whatever the hell we want.
Get ready for more water, more paint, and more foam. Sponsored by KFC, Digicel, and White Oak.
Glass Supermarket continues to be your family-oriented local supermarket which spares no effort to affordably bring you the world.
Trust Glass.
For quality and friendly service.
Trust Glass.
For daily excellent specials and fantastic prices.
Trust Glass.
For the best quality bread. Check out Glass for your delicious French pastries and meals.
Also, you must know that Glass caters for your special occasion with these quality French pastries and cakes.
Be sure to earn points on your glass card as we say thank you for your support, St. Lucia. Glass Supermarket, contact number 452-8814.
Plastic Solutions, catering to all your commercial and domestic plastic and paper bag needs. We also manufacture printed and non-printed plastic bags. Located on the cul-de-sac Bexo Highway, Plastic Solutions is an environmentally friendly company because of its high standard plastic recycling process. For orders and inquiries, please call 758-451-5577 or visit us on the cul-de-sac Bexo Highway.
Automotive art is a place to start. Automotive art is a place to start.
Yeah, look, check. We got a wide range of products that are automotive and do-it-yourself supplies if you got a moment. Smart staff that'll always know it. Got rims and tires from trucks to high performance to off-roading. Start hair, tools, batteries, oil, and car care.
Automotive art is a place to start.
Chrissy, go on, babe. You will be late for your appointment.
Papa, the water to our pressure, it running like oil.
Okay, let me fix that once and for all.
I go in by Europa, they have enough pumps there. Domestic and commercial, they have tough pumps there.
Europa is the boss for water pumps in St. Lucia. Check them out for any pressure boosting system you may need for both domestic and commercial applications. Best of all, Europa has the best prices, top quality, and after-sale support like no other. The Leo brand of water pumps will solve all your water pressure needs.
I go in by Europa, they have enough pumps there. Domestic and commercial, they have tough pumps there.
Contact us today at telephone 452-0763. Pumps also available at courts.
Good afternoon, this is NewsSpin. You on the air?
Good afternoon, Mr. Timothy Poleon. How are you doing?
I'm okay, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Good. Well, I just heard what you said something earlier, and I want to clarify that.
Who is this? Oh, is that Mr. Mosherry?
Mr. Stephen Mosherry.
Former police commissioner. Mr. Mosherry, thank you so much for calling.
Okay, you said that there had been allegations of sexual harassment within the force, and the Police Welfare Association had written to past commissioners.
Mm-hmm.
During my time, I had no such allegations. There were no allegations, sexual allegations during my time. I never got any letter from the Police Welfare Association in that regard. Neither did I have cause to receive any complaints from any victim. These things came to my knowledge after I retired, sometime in 2001. So it is not correct to say that any such thing happened during my tenure as Commissioner of Police.
Okay, thank you so much for the correction, sir. But how concerned are you, sir, that nothing has been done with regard to those allegations?
Well, I'm not sure that nothing has been done. I do not know that nothing has been done. What I understand from Mr. Law is that he had not heard from the commissioner. Not hearing from the commissioner does not necessarily mean that nothing has been done. So I do not want to comment on something that I do not know about now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's of concern to me. I mean, being a former commissioner, I think that is of concern to me, and I'm hoping that necessary action will be taken.
NewsSpin, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Mr. Poleon. How are you?
I'm okay, sir. Good afternoon to you.
I just listened to the former commissioner calling into your program.
Mm-hmm.
I would.
Who is this? Is this Mr.
Only one thing.
Is that Mr. Cameron Law?
It is Mr. Cameron Law.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
I would say only one thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are certain people that I have, at this time, almost no respect for. I would only say that. And I would advise some people to refrain from calling and to refrain from making statements that they know is not true.
All right, so
that's all I'm going to say.
No. So let me ask you one question. Clarify.
Yes.
Are you saying that the Police Welfare Association wrote to the then police commissioner, Mr. Mosherry?
Oh no, I'm not saying that at all.
Okay, all right.
I'm not saying that at all.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You on the air?
Good afternoon, Mr. Timothy Poleon. How are you doing?
I'm okay, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Good. Well, I just heard You said something earlier, and I want to clarify that.
Who is this? Oh, is that Mr. Mosherry?
Mr. Stephen Mosherry.
Former police commissioner. Mr. Mosherry, thank you so much for calling.
Okay, you said that there had been allegations of sexual harassment within the force, and the Police Welfare Association had written to past commissioners.
Mm-hmm.
During my time, I had no such allegations. There were no allegations, sexual allegations during my time. I never got any letter from the Police Welfare Association in that regard. Neither did I have cause to receive any complaints from any victim. These things came to my knowledge after I retired, sometime in 2001. So it is not correct to say that any such thing happened during my tenure as Commissioner of Police.
Okay, thank you so much for the correction, sir. But how concerned are you, sir, that nothing has been done with regard to those allegations?
Well, I'm not sure that nothing has been done. I do not know that nothing has been done. What I understand from Mr. Law is that he had not heard from the commissioner. Not hearing from the commissioner does not necessarily mean that nothing has been done. So I do not want to comment on something that I do not know about now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's of concern to me. I mean, being a former commissioner, I think that is of concern to me, and I'm hoping that